In January of '07, it was time for another tour. You're getting to where you're making this tour. Another tour back to Oklahoma. And this time there was ice, and you got stuck in the Sorrells driveway. And a 5-day storm ensued, and you were forced to stay with the family 5 miserable days. And this was when they began to realize that Kim was now also paying attention. In February, you were still traveling down the road when you got the message on, you got a message on your cell phone, a text message. Are you the people who drive in a big bus? And it wasn't mine, of course. And so Kim's sisters remember how Kim was chasing, trying to figure out who sent that message. Who sent that message? Well, in March, you both attended Andrew's wedding, which made you think of certain topics. And it was then, Kevin, that you got up the nerve to go to Mr. Jim and say, Jim, would you mind? And he said, not a bit, so long as it's only correspondence. You may call, you may email, keep it to that. Well, in July of '07, Kim found it necessary to visit her cousin that lived close to Kevin. That was very convenient. And became a little better acquainted. And that's when you confessed, I knew love for the first time. As she visited that time. By Thanksgiving of '07, your mom and dad said, I think it's time we go get to know the Adams. They came to Cody for Thanksgiving that fall. And Jim officially gave his approval for a courtship. And thus it began. Kevin signed his first email. Love, Kevin. December, he sent his first flowers. In January of '08, you are on tour again. And this time Kevin says, I don't know if I'm a very good singer, but I'd like to go on tour with you. And so it was that he climbed the board and he went on the tour as well. And then came what the family described as a series of endless long calls and emails. And the important part here is that during those long calls and emails, you discussed beliefs. You prayed together. And you began putting together a relationship that would work for all of time. 2008 was declared by the airlines as a delightful time. Because that was the year they got all your money. In May, Kevin flew to Cody for 10 days. In June, Kevin had to fly back to Cody for Kim's birthday. In July, Kim and Carissa decided they needed to go to Oklahoma. They flew to Oklahoma. In August, Kevin felt the need to return to Wyoming to come to a revival. In September, Kim found it necessary to fly to Oklahoma for graduation for Kevin as he finished his college degree. It was at that point that Kim pointed out, this courting's getting pretty expensive. We can't go on like this. I remember one of Kevin's great goals prior to his marriage was to have a home built for his wife-to-be. We all knew it was going to happen. And I recall at the great harvest dinner in Clark last fall, Kevin came. I was totally unaware that Kevin had a purpose for coming. But I recall they were eating at the table and I came up and I got real close to Kevin. I said, Kevin, it doesn't need to be a palace. Just get on with it. We're getting anxious for this to happen. I was, of course, not aware that that's why he had come to Wyoming that trip. And on November 24th, he was ready to take Kim up Sheep Mountain. But he had bought her a very special engagement watch. And he, naturally, after buying it, he became very, very fearful that she wouldn't like it. And went to Carissa and Julie and said, "Do you think she'll like this watch?" And they said, "Kevin, if you gave her a paperclip, she'd love it." And so it was that on the 24th, they started at the bottom of the mountain and they climbed all the way to the top. On the very top of Sheep Mountain, Kevin knelt down and said, "Kim, would you spend the rest of your life with me? Will you marry me?" And Kim said, "I've been waiting forever." I didn't think you were ever going to ask. So in December, you both went to Ohio for Grandma and Grandpa's 50th wedding anniversary. Grandma and Grandpa, who had 82 grandchildren and 14 great-grandchildren, were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. And there you made it known to the family that we, in fact, are getting married. As we finish this portion of the service,